Hello.
Hey.
Welcome to Jump and Shoot Bros.
Episode 2.
He's Jump, I'm Shoot. Let's do this shit.
Episode 2 of our Mega Man Streamcast.
Yep, we're casting, we're streaming, we're Mega Manning, we're 2. And we're gonna try to even respond to your comments, if there are any.
Yeah.
Which is gonna be new for us.
Right, usually we ignore you completely. This is
It does tend to happen, yeah. It's not, it's not intentional, but
No.
it's just, it happens because we don't pay attention to what you guys are saying at all.
Yeah.
And you know what, that's what you get also, by the way, for being, you know, in the chat.
What's that? Being ignored?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's what you get for having the audacity to watch our bullshit show.
Right. So,
Jeremy, what did you do this week?
this week,
Yeah, this whole week.
I watched watched a bunch of flat Earth videos.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And were you convinced
I was
the flatness of the Earth?
I was indeed convinced.
Yeah.
Flat Earth is real.
What did it take to convince you that flat Earth was in fact real?
You can see the Chicago skyline from across the lake. I don't know.
Okay.
That's one of the most commonly used.
Pretty
proofs.
compelling. Gonna be honest with you, that's pretty compelling.
Airplanes. When you're flying an airplane, they're not like constantly diving to cope with the Earth's curvature. They're not constantly like taking a nosedive. They fly straight. Like because the Earth is flat.
But they
fly straight. They don't fly in a curve. They don't fly out into the atmosphere and then nosedive down. You know, like they would have to if the Earth was round.
Well, they wouldn't have to. That would be a smooth, continuous curve. They would Earth.
They would be flying flat. They're called airplanes, not air curves. They're straight. They fly in straight line.
I mean, they fly. You know, they can establish an altitude at which they can consistently maintain. But you know, there's still a curve to cope with, which just naturally happens. That's how gravity works.
No.
Okay, here's a question.
No, bro. That's typical round earther propaganda.
Well, here's a question for you, flat Earth people. Since you are now one,
right, and
you can speak for them. Do they believe in gravity? Is that a thing in their minds, or is gravity not real?
No, gravity's not real. Gravity is there's a force that's pushing down on us from above.
Oh,
it's not gravity. Gravity's fake.
But why?
Gravity's made up.
But why is there a force pushing down?
Well, something's got to be pushing us down, or we'd float away.
Well, what? Okay, what about the idea of something pulling us down rather than pushing us down is so not palatable to you? Like they're essentially the same concept, only one is reverse of the other. So what makes pulling you down towards the Earth so unpalatable to your mind?
Well, because
if that's what you choose to call it.
Because I'm gonna have to look up reasons why I believe this. So
okay.
At another time, I really don't freaking know, man. I've been so baffled at the lack of the complete disregard for like scientific evidence. That I'm gonna have to do some more research as to why I believe this.
Okay.
No, it really is like it's unfounded in any scientific principle. But the idea is that science itself is a conspiracy. Science is a conspiracy.
Okay. I can get down with that concept. Why would science be real? So, I guess the question then is, what is, I mean, if science itself is a conspiracy,
mm-hmm.
then what do flat earthers use as their like justification for what they think, like what they believe in? If it's not science, if scientific, like if science itself is not legitimate, then what standard is used to determine truth in the flat earther's mind?
Mostly it's religious. That's something that I didn't know before I started researching it. And I haven't researched, like I'm not an expert on flat Earth, but
you just believe it.
I just believe it because it's the truth. I've seen the truth now.
Right. I mean, it is fact, so there's no way around it.
No, it's very. It's all based on conjecture. It's all based on like observable things, and not even like some dude took a bubble level in an airplane, and basically said if there was a curve, you would see this bubble level change at times throughout the flight. But
see, that sort of argument only works if you also discredit the idea of gravity and how that works.
Right,
so, like, where do you get that? Where do you? Okay, you said it's mostly observable stuff. Well, where is the observation that says that there is a force pushing down from above upon us? That is a flat, linear. I don't know, whatever they think it is.
Right.
Sheet.
I don't know.
I don't know. Of force. Like, where is the observable evidence of this? Like, I don't know. It seems suspect.
I think the idea, like, first of all, you can't debunk a flat earther. You can't debunk. You can't argue with a flat earther because they're always going to have a reason why your argument is. It's all based, of course, on scientific evidence,
right? And
they don't believe in science, so
right. So the fun, like they're always going to
win the argument.
Win because they're always going to discredit whatever method you use to try to prove them wrong,
right? So
because they're not playing fair. They're playing by a different rule set.
So basically, the Earth is a disc. It's not moving. It's stationary.
Okay.
It's not spinning. And a lot of times, like people say, if the Earth was flat, of course, then gravity would be coming from like the center of the disk or whatever. And as you go out further, they say like if gravity originated from the center of the disk, as you go out further, you feel yourself being pulled back toward the center.
Oh, so that's the problem with gravity in their mind. So the real issue is that they have committed the greatest sin that you can commit in reasoning, which is that they've come up with a solution to a problem without any evidence, and now they're trying to work backwards from their solution that they've come up with.
Right.
They've come up with the answer, and now they're trying to find the questions.
Yes.
Yeah, so therefore, not reasoning. It's not reasoning what they're doing. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Needless to say, like it's ridiculous. But so Professor Stick, I'm giving him a plug.
Okay. Because he needs the
hundreds
viewership.
of millions of viewers and tens of thousands of subscribers.
Hey, if we can get our audience over there. Hey guys. You know what? You should go hit him up on Twitter.
Yeah.
Go hashtag Jump and Shoot Bros sent me here.
Right.
Let's get that trending on Twitter.
Yeah. So Professor Stick, and like I like him pretty good. I don't agree with everything that he says, and I'll talk to you about that in a different setting. But
it's not appropriate for.
No, it's not that it's not appropriate. It's just he and I don't agree on everything, but. He is.
You don't want to burn any bridges, though, like on stream.
Right, there you go. But as far as like most of his scientific, they're all scientific videos, but especially with the flat Earth, like he makes obviously like it's really elementary. It's elementary to debate a flat earther. But he makes very, very like profound arguments against flat Earth. It doesn't matter. Like, he's wasting his breath. He's completely because people who believe this are out of their mind, like literally outside of their mind. So, you know, on the one hand, I enjoy his videos; they're entertaining, and I think that's probably all he makes them for, because he knows he's not going to convince a flat earther that the Earth is round.
I think you're probably right about that. People whose like thing is that they debunk stuff, I don't think are trying to prove the people who believe it, like convince them that they're wrong.
Right, because it's not.
I think they're just doing it because there's an audience that is like baffled by the fact that these people exist and want to see these debunking videos because they think because it like validates their sanity. Right. Like and is entertaining to make fun of these stupid people.
Yeah, and you know they a lot of it is like taking a Bible verse. And the thing is, like, you know, regardless of your religious beliefs, the Bible was written by humans of that era. So what they observed was, you know, from their like, you know, rudimentary. It's talking about like the sun rising and setting, or the sun passing beyond the horizon, things like that. Like, yeah, because of course they had no way of knowing at that time what was really going on.
But Jeremy, the Bible is infallible. It's perfect, and there's nothing wrong with it.
I believe
it speaks no non-truths.
I'm a Christian. I believe that the Bible, the message of the Bible, is different from the.
No, Jeremy, the text of the Bible itself is perfect and handed down directly by God, and therefore is accurate.
Yeah.
There was no spin placed on it by any of the people who were involved in the writing of it. No, you know, human observations were made of any kind.
Right.
It is perfectly, purely divine. Not divinely inspired even. It is just handed down the exact word of God.
Yeah.
Even though that's literally not what several of the books, even most of the books even claim.
Right.
They don't even claim to be the divine word of God handed down.
Right.
A lot of them are just from the perspective of some guy.
Yeah.
But no, it's infallible.
That's where a lot of, you know, the quote unquote evidence comes from.
But only the King James version is infallible, though.
Right.
Don't give me that new King James bullshit.
Oh boy. Oh, speaking of which, you know, Billy Graham died this week.
Yeah, I saw that on a billboard.
Hey, you know what?
The other day.
Godspeed,
on a billboard. That's how I found out.
On a billboard?
It was on a billboard.
What did it say?
It said Billy Graham,
like on one of those like flashy, like
the LED
like
billboards,
news blurb billboard things.
Yeah, it was like it was just like a little like just a little dedication to him.
Right.
It was like a teacher, you know, servant, friend to all. Billy Graham.
Yeah.
You know, such and such, 1927 to I have no idea when he was born. You know, the point. Like the point being,
I mean, he was freaking old.
1914 to
96, I think. So really, yeah.
Yeah. So
not 1914.
1914 to
140 or something.
Yeah. So anyway, you know, but yeah, I saw that on a billboard, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a thing that happened.
Right.
The day of, I mean, they were on top of it.
Right.
Like,
well,
it was like that morning.
That's
like,
what can happen with LED billboards.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I looked at it and I was like, that's today's date.
Yeah.
And it was like 10 in the morning. I was like, okay, that was quick. But anyway, were you going anywhere with that?
No, I was just giving a shout out to Billy Graham.
Oh, shout out to Billy Graham. You know, big friend of the show.
Yeah.
Friend of the show, Billy Graham.
Loved us. He watched Jump and Shoot Bros all the time.
Yeah.
Who is quick boomerang kill? think Airman?
I don't know, Jeremy.
Come on, bro.
I don't know anything about
No,
Mega
that's
Man.
Leaf Shield.
I don't know.
Wood Man is Heat Man. Heat Man is Bubble Man.
Well, maybe it's Crash Man.
Let's see. Air on Flash, Metal on Clash. Wait, Air on Flash. Air on Crash, Metal on Flash, Metal on Bubble, Bubble on Heat, Heat on Wood. Okay.
What?
It's from a song.
Oh. A song about Mega Man
About
2.
Mega Man 2.
Okay.
That's how I remember
Well, hey.
the boss order on this game.
Whatever you have to do, man.
Yeah.
Man, Mega Man games are goofy.
Use the
What is this guy?
blaster. Air on Crash, Metal on Flash, Metal on Bubble, Bubble on Heat, Heat on Wood. Yeah.
Well, anyway, Flat Earth, you know, I think we thoroughly debunked it. Just
Yeah,
then.
I mean, there's no debunking to do. Like, no saying.
Look, as
like,
compelling
person believes, you know?
as Flat Earth theory is.
Yeah, it's just okay. So there are some things that I still have yet to see like explanations for. So the solar eclipse, easy enough. The moon moves in front of the sun.
Uh-huh.
But the lunar eclipse, how do you explain that?
Mm-hmm. Which one? What's the issue with the lunar eclipse?
Well, with the lunar eclipse, you know, according to the propaganda of science, the lunar eclipse happens when freaking, you know, Earth moves in front of the moon. But how does that happen with flat Earth theory being that the Earth is not a ball? And the moon... Oh, in case you didn't know, the sun and moon travel in a circular pattern above the surface of the flat Earth.
Right, that's what I've heard.
So what moves in front of the the moon to create a lunar eclipse?
Well,
they don't.
I don't know.
I haven't seen an explanation for that.
Do they not
yet.
try to explain that?
They may, but I haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of flat Earth videos.
Yeah, I mean that's a pretty damning.
Maybe it's that one that
piece
they
of
just
evidence,
like ignore.
Yeah,
well, there's an explanation.
Lunar eclipse, those don't happen.
Right.
You've been lied to.
That didn't happen literally like 2 weeks ago.
No, those don't happen. That you've been lied to. The moon just like dips out for a minute. You know?
Right.
It's just gone. You know, it's gotta grab a smoke.
Also, interesting enough, the moon creates its own light. It doesn't reflect light from the sun.
Okay.
No explanation really on how the lunar phases happen. That's just a thing that happened. The moon just feels like only showing half of itself.
So, like, you'd think there would be a
while.
reason for it. But I guess, you know...
It just feels like lighting up part of itself sometimes.
I guess anytime you run into, like, a roadblock of logic, you have to just concede...
Except that the moon
you
just
have to
wants
concede
do that
oh, yeah, they're not using logic. So, that's not how this works.
And just, it's amazing. It's incredible to me that this is even a debate.
Well, you know, here's what I've heard, Jeremy, that I think sounds pretty plausible about why people are on, you know, all about this. And it's not that these people are just crazy. Like, it's that, you know, people, they have issues, man. No, you gotta understand, like, people want to be victims. There are certain people who just want to be victims, and they get validation in their shitty lives by feeling like they have been a victim. I heard this because I don't watch a lot of flat Earth stuff, but I do. You know, watch a lot of
Illuminati stuff.
No. Just guys who like talk about like YouTube philosophers. You know, people who just talk about philosophy and stuff like that sometimes while they're talking about other stuff. And one of them, I forget who I was watching actually. It might have been Louis Rossman, maybe not. I can't remember. One of these guys I watch. He was talking about flat Earth the other day. Not like going in depth on anything. He was just talking about, you know, like using flat earthers as an example to talk about a bigger point he was trying to make. And it was just that, you know, like some people just want to feel like that the reason that they their lives suck, and the reason that they feel like they've been held down in the world is something valid and not just their own personal failures.
Sure.
And so people come up with these ideas.
But what's
that there's
that have to
these
do with the round Earth versus flat Earth?
Well, no, it's the whole thing. It's like just like the Illuminati conspiracies and stuff. It's the whole idea that there is some bigger, there's this huge, horrible system that is working against you, that's trying to misinform you, lie to you, and hold you down.
Right.
And that's why your life sucks. That's why you haven't accomplished anything. And it's not because you suck. Right. It's because there's some massive, conspiracy holding you down.
Sure.
And everything that you've been told is a lie.
Right.
And people find comfort in that. People who don't really achieve much in life find comfort in feeling like that they're being held down by some huge insurmountable force that they have just no way of countering. And I think that is probably true for a lot of people who are into the conspiracy theories and stuff like that, the Illuminati stuff. That your typical Alex Jones watcher. Right. There are people who want to find validation in feeling like that the world is stacked against them. Right. And really, the world is stacked against you because it's tough out there, everything is tough, but you can achieve
it's about
things.
Rising above, and it's about rising above, what's holding you down and getting beyond it, instead of just accepting that this is where you are.
Right. And instead of trying to make excuses, find things to be excuses for why you have failed. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. I think there are some people who are just legit crazy. Yeah. And believe this stuff because they're crazy. But I think a lot of people it's comforting for them, and it's really sad.
It's sad that that's where you get your validation, where you get your comfort. You get it from believing that everyone's out to get you,
right?
And that the government and everyone else is plotting against, everyone.
Yeah. And some people get their validation from being really good at Mega Man 2.
Yeah, that's not me. It is not me.
But,
obviously you can see.
It's not for everybody.
You can see this, okay, so what I'm doing right now, this invisible block section, is the most random freaking thing. It's not random. There is a pattern. But
there appears to be a pattern, but that right there sucks.
Yeah, because in later games, they really did a lot better with the patterns of the hidden blocks, where it was actually an easy to remember pattern at least.
Well, what's happening there is bullshit. Yeah, because the block is coming in and knocking you out of the way of it.
Right,
which means that the timing has to be perfect.
Yeah, I have to jump within a few frames of it coming up, so that I'm not.
That's pretty ridiculous.
That was my fault.
That's asking a lot.
Right. If I had item 2, which later becomes Rush Jet in later games, I could just fly over this pit and not have to worry about this, but I forgot about that, so I haven't gotten it yet.
This looks like Nintendo hard to me.
Yeah, so actually, the American release of this game was easy mode. So I'm playing on easy mode right now.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. There was different difficulty for...
Mm-hmm. And in Japan, there was hard and normal. And so we're playing normal, but hard was the default setting in Japan. Okay. I'm sorry, maybe it was normal.
Is that common for shit? Is that common for Mega Man games, or was that just this one? Really? Mm-hmm. That's interesting. I wonder why.
I don't know. They were trying stuff. Mega Man 2 was very experimental. Mm-hmm. It's a lot different than Mega Man 1, and a lot of the best ideas came from this game. Okay. But it's still kind of buggy and doesn't feel as good. I mean, a lot of people say this is the masterpiece. It wasn't. It wasn't. They were still trying stuff. This was still new. And Mega Man 3 is the most polished, I think, is where or where they start to feel polished. Right. I love this game. It's a great game. It's not my favorite by far.
But you're not ice sliding around all over the place like you were in
Not as much. And I don't remember that being a thing in Mega Man 1 either. So that's interesting that I kind of got that last time.
Well, I mean, it was definitely there. I mean, I could see it happening.
Yeah, I don't remember that being a thing when I would play Mega Man 1. I haven't played Mega Man 1 much. I never really liked it that much.
Yeah. Understandable.
Because it's definitely
like shit.
It's definitely an imperfect game. There's glitches and bugs that just make the game not really a lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's NES games. They're shit. They all suck.
But later in the NES's life, actually, there are some really good games.
Yeah.
I like
like Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah, Super Mario 3, man, and
also
Doki Doki Mario.
And Doki Doki Literature Club. That was a great NES game.
Right.
I love that one. It's so weird that they changed all the characters out for Mario characters, though.
Yeah, I mean, how awesome would it have been to go through as, Natsuki, Sayori.
Yep. Instead, we had like Mario.
Fuck this.
Bowser.
I'm going to a different stage.
Oh,
I can't remember where item 2 is.
We could probably find out if we wanted to look.
Let's see. Probably Airman. I'm guessing Airman.
Well, did we have anything else to say about flat earthers?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know what there is to say about them because it clearly is just insanity.
Yeah. I mean, well, there is another factor to it, which is that there's a lot of people who are making a lot of money off of it. Mm-hmm. So,
what do you mean?
Like the people who run the websites and the subscription clubs and make and print books and
right. True.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of ringleaders making a lot of money.
There's a conspiracy to make a lot of money off of flat Earth.
I think that the people who are like pushing it and making money off it, they don't believe it.
No,
they don't believe it. They are
instigating
just they're just creating their market that they're selling to.
Yeah,
and that's fine. That's cool. That's capitalism. It's legit. It's totally legit.
I mean, it's like
I completely agree.
It's like Scientology.
Mm-hmm.
That's what flat Earth is.
Hey man, if you fall for that, if you fall for it, I mean, that's. I feel like it's kind of on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to start my own
religion,
anti-science club or anything myself, but at the same time, it's like, well, I mean, it's shit, and you're garbage. You are a garbage human being if you do that sort of thing. But I mean, I guess you're just trying to survive, just like everybody else.
Yeah, yeah. Don't hate on the flat Earth creators. They're just trying to get by, just like everybody else.
Just they found their way. They found their market. They found their niche.
Yep.
Everybody needs to find one.
Yep.
That's how you succeed in life. On the backs of
poor unsuspecting
stupid people. Poor unsuspecting stupid people.
Yep.
Anyway.
Fuck me. Okay, I'm done. I'm done with this game.
Yeah? You are?
Hey guys, it's been nice. It's been fun.
Are you really done with the game?
But...
Because, I mean, we've only been streaming for
15 minutes, a half hour.
If that.
I just hate that it sucks so bad. I blew through the first few stages like I was good, and then now I'm just dying. I'm just dying a lot.
Yeah, it did seem like you were just plowing right through the first few stages. I was like, oh wow, this is going to be over quick.
Well, it could be. Nah, the Wily stages, I probably will quit, and I'm sorry to say that. If we have more time, I would definitely stick it out, but...
Well, it's understandable. I mean, tonight we started later than it.
So, can we save state and continue from here, and then maybe, branch into Mega Man 3 next time?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be fine.
Okay.
So yeah, this will be a short one. I mean, we started.
I'll get to the Wily stages. I'll get through the 8 Robot Masters here, and then we'll pick up on Wily next time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we started late tonight. This is gonna be you gotta understand. We're trying something new with our format here. We're trying to first off make our show interesting to watch.
Yeah. Well, not interesting necessarily because we can't promise that it will be interesting.
Well, we're
but at least going
attempting
to,
to make it not just watching Jeremy or Caleb play a video game,
right,
and actually like maybe talk about things. But in the process of doing so, you know, we're trying to kind of like rearranging how we format everything.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'll kind of explain what our plan is for streaming schedule and stuff.
Yeah.
Mondays we're gonna try to stream like every Monday. We're going to try to stream every Monday. Now, it may not work out because of Jeremy's work schedule, which is unpredictable.
It's going to be fairly regular. Tonight was an exception.
Yeah. So, hopefully we'll start earlier. Do we know like what time we're shooting for on a normal day? But assuming that your
could shoot for 7:30.
Schedule doesn't get in the way. Okay. Yeah. So we'll try for 7:30. That I think would be a good starting point. And then if we can't stream for reasons on Mondays, I think we're gonna try to do a stream on Thursday again, like still like that week.
Thursday will be like the makeup day if Monday just doesn't work.
Right. So we're completely abandoning Thursday as our normal day because it just doesn't really work out that well for either. Well, I mean, it works out fine for me, but basically, it doesn't work out as well for Jeremy as it did originally when we first started doing this.
Right.
Because circumstances have changed a little bit. So so Monday is going to be our new night,
yeah. And it seems to be working out fine, except for this week. We've been doing this. This is the second week or third?
This is the second one.
Second Monday. Today is just an exception, but from now on, I think it should be totally fine.
Yeah, and the nice thing about streaming on Mondays is that we're streaming here, and all the stuff is already set up. At the office. All the stuff is already set up, so like getting started will not be an issue,
right?
Which it has been in the past because everything has to be set up, and I never plan in advance,
yeah,
and prepare. Like so, even though I know it's gonna happen, Jeremy gets here and none of it's set up, and I have to set it all up, and now that's not gonna be an issue. So, it should be good. I think we're all gonna
pretty soon. We're gonna have some cool like posters and wall hanging.
Yeah, I've done nothing to this room since we were last here last week. I've been way too busy working on other aspects of this house. So it is what it is.
Yeah, you should actually see this whole room.
Yeah, it's a nightmare. I mean,
like we're looking at just piles of cords and crap.
I've got a Capcom CPS2 Darkstalkers board here. I was playing that the other day. Hey, here is my Super Nintendo, my test Super Nintendo, and my Chrono Trigger cartridge. as all Chrono Trigger cartridges always look.
Right.
This Chrono Trigger cartridge is totally stock factory fresh, just like they come in the box.
I'm just gonna go ahead and die because that's game over.
I have another Chrono Trigger. Oh, here's my other Chrono Trigger cartridge. This is a little bit more normal looking.
A little bit more, not exactly what you're used to.
It's a Super Famicom cartridge, but hilariously to me at least, that Chrono Trigger cartridge I haven't actually played. We played a little bit of it on the old before we started streaming days.
Yeah, we did our Let's Play.
But
Chrono Trigger.
This cartridge, which was whipped together as a test for a total rewiring that I was doing on I do weird stuff in my spare time.
Yeah,
and that's all I can really say. And I whipped this up as just a test, and I ended up playing through the entire game. I'm at the I haven't beaten it yet, but I'm at the very end, just doing the side quests. Before fighting Lavos, and I just kind of accidentally just in my spare time just played through the entire game on this cartridge, which happens to be the first time I've actually ever played it on a Super Nintendo.
Right. Yeah.
I originally the first time I beat the game was on a PlayStation disc. Yeah. Which I imagine probably is how a lot of people played it.
That's how I played it first.
Yeah, because I mean, Chrono Trigger cartridges have been expensive for as long as I can remember. I remember going to Game Force, Jeremy, and seeing a Chrono Trigger cartridge there, and they wanted like $100 for it.
Yeah.
And that was back in like
that was
like back in like the early 2000s, so it wasn't that far off of.
I miss Game Force. That store was awesome.
It was there for a long time.
That store was way more awesome than like Game Exchange.
Yeah, well, okay, it was, yes. It had that, it was that, hometown game store feel. Where, I mean, all of them are the same. All of your hometown game stores are always the same.
Yeah. It's always like a bunch of chill dudes playing video games, and they're like, "You want to buy something?" And you're like, "Yeah, I'm here to play video games with you." And they're like, "Oh, cool."
It's always the same. It's always the same format, though. You go into it. It's always in a strip mall. Yeah. It's always like a long, narrow. It's like always like a long, narrow store. Mm-hmm. You walk in, there's always glass cases in a U shape all the way around the exterior of the store. Mm-hmm. And then you've always got your Super Nintendo games over here, and you got your Sega over here. Like your Nintendo's over here, your Sega's over here.
Yeah.
And then you get further back, you get your PlayStation and stuff like that. But, and then they've got TVs, across at various points across the walls. And they may have a controller strung across there that you can play the hot new Xbox game.
Right.
Original Xbox with the giant controller.
Yeah.
But like they're all the same. Oh, and of course they're gonna have a Sega Nomad sitting up there, and nobody's ever gonna buy it because nobody wants that.
Who has a Sega Nomad?
It's cool.
I don't remember every video game store having a Sega Nomad.
Oh well, okay. So here's the deal. So McVan's Games in Fishers, Indiana. Not Fishers. No, where was that? I don't know. Whatever. Fishers. We'll just go with Fishers.
Noblesville?
No, it wasn't Noblesville. I think it was Fishers. So McVan's video games in Fishers was exactly the same. It was just the exact same thing.
Right.
And they had a Sega Nomad up in the front every time I went in there, and an Atari Lynx. And nobody.
That's so crazy. I've never seen those things in real life.
Yeah, I've seen plenty of Nomads. I gotta say, they were all at McVan's.
Wow.
It was the same one. But no, they actually had multiple Nomads at one point. I guess somebody bought one of them eventually. But, the Nomad, what a thing
It was a cool idea.
It was just a Sega Genesis.
I know, but
with a screen on it.
Think about the time that it was released. Like, when you're driving down the road in the car, if you're a Sega kid, which you're not, because nobody who was a Sega kid.
But they were Sega kids. They just
you're a Sega kid. I mean, okay. So imagine if it was the Nintendo Nomad. I mean, how freaking cool would it have been to be able to play SNES in the car on a road trip?
Yeah,
like that would have been awesome.
I mean, sure, yeah, for sure. It would have been way cooler than Game Boy. Game Boy's games sucked. But, hey, they didn't all suck. So I'm sure people are offended by that. But
that's the invisible block section if you have...
Yeah, it seems pretty easy now at this point.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is that, they're all the same, and they all close... they all go out of business.
Right.
Like, that's the other trait that they all have. They're around for 5...
It is really sad because... I love the hometown game store, and I bought a lot of stuff there. Mm-hmm. Like, it wasn't like I didn't patronize them. I went in, I bought SNES games, I bought a Super Nintendo at Game Force. Mm-hmm. We bought all our stuff at Game Force, didn't we? Like the Sega Saturn that we had?
No. We bought that at Babbage's.
Oh, okay.
The Saturn came from Babbage's.
I mean,
pretty much all the used stuff we bought aside from the Saturn.
The mom soapbox here for a second. You guys need to go patronize your local, video game store because you're never gonna have that brick and mortar experience that you get from at Amazon. That you get from your local game store. Like, you like to go flip through the pages of your new SNES cartridge before you...
You gotta flip through the pages. You want to smell the paper, of your NES cartridge. I agree. You can't smell the eBay listing.
Right.
You just can't. I mean, your computer might smell, but that would be a separate issue. But yeah, I mean, I love the classic, local game store experience. But they all go out of business, and it's just not a viable business.
Right.
Like the problem is
the nostalgia
just
side of me wants them around. The practical side of me understands why they can't happen.
Like Game Exchange. Okay, so here's the deal. I think they could exist, but they would have to be. It can't be like a profitable operation on its own. It's got to be like a charity. you know, this is a charitable thing that's happening, and I'm thinking like. It's something. It's like something I would want to do, in the future. Where like, say, we like say you and I, we get our business, our own, business to where we want it to be, and we don't and we can open a game store as like just a thing to do,
right?
Rather than like as a like we've got to survive off of this game store we opened.
Well, I think
like the bar we're gonna open.
I think that. Well, I was gonna say. I think that the game store could really piggyback off the bar. Like, I mean, why not?
Well, I mean, we could just do it next door. Just right next door. Have a little walkway that goes in between the two.
Or just have, like, games along the wall and be like, here's our SNES section. Go check it out while you're in here,
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're overcomplicating the brewery.
Yeah. It can be everything. Our bar can be literally everything.
There's limits, man. Like, you need to have some level of separation between the concepts. But I mean, look, I'm down for whatever. If we get to a point where we don't have to worry about like eating ever again because we have enough money to eat,
right?
Then let's we can do everything. But like that again, that's one of those things where like you would have to already be like independently wealthy,
right? Due
to other ventures that you've gotten into. And you're just doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
There's no way to make money in it, like doing it as your business.
Right.
It's just the profit margin is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like this, like where you have so much inventory.
Damn it!
What's happening here?
You can't cancel this attack, so I accidentally used it when I meant to use something else.
Oh.
And yeah, that's what I want.
Okay.
But you have to wait for all the bar to run down before you can do anything else.
Wow, this boss is amazing.
What, Woodman?
He throws leaves.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Also, one hit kill.
Wow. Yeah. So much inventory, Jeremy, that you have to hold. Like, it's ridiculous how much inventory there is.
Well, right.
At a game store.
Your average price point is like $4.
Right.
So.
It's an insane amount of inventory that is worth nothing.
Right.
Because you gotta buy it. Like, so even though it's worth nothing, you still have to pay somebody for it. How much do you pay? Like, how do you convince somebody that it's worthwhile to sell you their cartridge for like 3 cents?
I mean, that's what it is, though. Like, you bring in like a... But the thing is, like, people don't bring in a game to those places. They're like, hey, here's my old SNES collection, or here's my old Genesis collection. Like, here's a Genesis with 49 games.
Right.
Like, how much would you give me? And I'm like, well, maybe $15 for the whole lot. And they're like, cool, I can buy like a smoothie.
But the problem is that nobody will ever buy those games from your store. They will just sit in your inventory forever.
And then you can use eBay. So, like, you can use eBay, I guess.
So, like me, I go to Game Exchange, like, on a regular basis because it's the only game store that exists. Mm-hmm. And I go regularly. Hit the various game exchanges. Their inventory never changes.
Right.
On Super Nintendo games, nobody ever buys them.
So where do they make their money? Movies? Is it movies or?
It's more modern games. Like I'm sure that they sell, buy and sell, trade PS4. Xbox One, PS3, PS3, Xbox 360 games. I'm sure that those are all still very good markets for them. Movies, I'm sure they make good money off of that as well. Right. Movies is like half of the store. Like,
the thing
half
is,
of
like,
the space.
Who's buying DVDs anymore? Like
people. Still, I mean, you. Oh, look, DVDs.
Is the used DVD market like really a big market?
I am sure that they make pretty decent money off of it because they pay nothing for DVDs.
Right.
Because who's buying DVDs? But then they sell them. They do sell them. I mean, we go there and buy DVDs. Me and Jordan do.
I just don't I don't buy DVDs at all anymore. And if I want a new movie, I'm gonna get it on Blu-ray, and I'm gonna get it the week it comes out. Like,
well, they do Blu-ray sales too. That's a huge portion of their store is Blu-ray buying and selling.
Right.
So, I mean, they
no,
have
I'm
DVDs
just saying,
here,
like, so literally, their whole business model is new games and Blu-rays.
Well, not new game,
or newer games.
Yeah, it's all used, games and hardware and stuff. But they still have those sections of the store dedicated to the classic, to the older generations because that's what people want it to be.
Right.
Because you want to be able to go to a place and buy a Super Nintendo and some cartridges, but nobody actually does, though.
Right.
And so that's the problem. But, like a store like Game Exchange that can justify its existence by making sure that it has a diverse enough offering to be profitable, they are the only ones that can realistically fill that niche because they can afford to do it because they can fund it other ways.
Right.
And but I go there all the time, and their inventory never changes. I look at their Super Nintendo inventory. It's always the same. The only time it ever changes is when I buy a cartridge from them. I think I'm the only customer who buys Super Nintendo.
Well, you're definitely the only customer who buys Madden 96 over.
That's true. Whenever I go in there and I buy 2 or 3 copies of Madden 96, they're always like, you got these are all Madden 96. These are all the same game, right? I'm like, yes, I know. Yeah. Trust me, I know.
All right, so check out this boss. Crash Man. Well, that wasn't as smooth as it could have been, but 2 hits. It could have been 1 hit. There's 2 bosses in this game you can 1 hit.
Okay.
And that's another testament to the brokenness of this game. Like, it's not a perfect masterpiece. If you can 1 hit a boss with their weakness,
right,
you haven't worked it out yet. Like, you haven't figured it out. There's got to still be some challenge.
Yeah.
There's a lot of challenge in the stages, but the bosses are kind of like, you can beat almost every boss with Metal Blade in like 4 or 5 hits.
Mm-hmm.
Metal Man, you can 1-hit him with Metal Blade in the refights.
Oh, wow.
So his own weapon.
To his own weapon.
Yeah. All right, so that's it, man. That's Wily. What time is it? 9:52. I'll play the first stage of Wily.
Okay.
We got, I was thinking like I'll roll out around 10.
Yeah.
I've got a 3-hour and 20-minute drive to make first thing in the morning. So
cool. Well, to close out my thoughts on video game stores, I would like to open one someday.
Yeah.
As
so
a thing that would be fun to do.
What I was thinking, not to make it like a big deal or anything, but our bar. I mean, are we talking about this on stream? Is that okay? Is that all right?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Sorry, I killed these little birds and just tons of these things came out.
Yeah,
okay.
I noticed that they seem to have an extremely high drop rate of useful stuff.
Right.
Which is not true in later Mega Man games.
No.
Like in Mega Man X, you can't find anything that you need ever.
So anyway, the what was I trying to say? Oh,
I mean, it's not a new concept. Like what I'm talking about, what I want to do for our bar.
It's not an old concept.
Is something that has been done in trendier cities,
our particular concept has been done.
Very similar concepts have been done.
Well, I mean, I know
very
the one
similar,
thing,
like
the book thing.
Oh no! I'm talking about specifically with video games.
Okay.
Not necessarily arcade games, but just video games in general.
All right, so we're gonna have a barcade.
It's a brewery. It's gonna be a brewery.
It's gonna be a microbrewery where you can come in and play arcade games for free.
Yeah, no quarters.
Yeah,
required. You just have to be over the age of 21 to come into the place that has the section of the bar that has the good games.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like charity. We're not going to have street urchins coming in and playing our games.
Right.
But it's going to be.
We haven't worked out the specifics of how it's all going to work out.
It's a definite perk of coming to have a brew and you get to play Street Fighter with your bros.
Well, I am convinced that the arcade format can still work. It just needs to be modified. And I think that where the United States failed with arcades is that the formula for how you make money in an arcade never evolved.
Right.
As everything else about the video game market evolved. And that's why they failed here. You know, they didn't fail in Japan. Arcades are still very much a thing in Japan. Yeah. Now, Japan didn't modify their pricing model or anything like that because they didn't need to, because culturally, arcades and the arcade concept is still relevant to the Japanese people. But here, the relevance of it went away, and nobody did anything to try to, like, find a new way to make it relevant. Right. I think it can be done, and I think that doing it in the form of everything's free to play, you know, like those games you get on your cell phone. But there's free in-app purchases. But there's in-app purchases in the form of beer. Yeah, it's perfect. And the thing is that you know, you don't have to pay for the game, the experience of playing the game itself, which makes it.
Here's the dragon, by the way.
Oh, sweet. But the fact that you don't have to pay to play the game. Oh wow, he really does look really goofy and hilarious. He looks way cooler on the box art. Right. This is like a freaking.
Damn it. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Anyway, what you know, I really feel like not having to pay to play the game itself is going to be the major draw of still playing the games. Because, I mean, people like playing arcade games.
Right. Who doesn't like to go in and play Street Fighter 2 Turbo?
And what I want is to be able to play arcade games with people, with other human beings. You know,
as your job.
I have the no. I'm just saying, like, I want to be able to. No, I want to be able to play an arcade game with other human beings. Yeah, that's like a bare minimum thing I want to achieve in life. Because I was too young. I'm too young to have experienced the arcade. Right. You know, I was like 5. Yeah. When Silver Ball was still even somewhat active and lively.
The only arcade that we had when we were kids.
And so, like, to me, I never got the teenage, like, going to the arcade, playing the Street Fighter,
Fuck
you know.
Me.
Just jump right in and as a result, there's like an emptiness in me. I'm broken in that way. Because that's an experience I never got to have, and I want to have that experience as an adult. Yeah. Where I can go play Street Fighter against normal people, so that I don't go online and get destroyed constantly.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, like, it's really discouraging to play fighting games because everyone is better than you. Yeah. But in real life, where you're just at a place where there's some people who are geographically close to you, right, and therefore that's the only reason you're meeting them.
A candidate to play a game with you.
Right. That's the only reason that they're even your opponent is because they're geographically close to you.
In the same bar as you.
Like, that completely changes, like, the skill dynamic that's there, and gives you a chance to actually be like the cool kid who rules the school. You know, sure. And I want to experience that, and I think that's a this is the thing. I think that's a valuable experience that has been lost because arcades never really attempted to find a way to stay relevant from a financial perspective.
Right. So plug some quarters in, and
what I think drove the death of arcades in the United States was the fact that the financial model no longer made sense, not the fact that people don't want to go to the arcade. Right. I don't think that's true. I think that it's just that financially people were like, well, this is bullshit. I can play video games at home.
Right, right.
And so that's how that happened.
Yeah.
But, you know, I mean, that's my theory on the matter. Maybe I'm crazy for thinking that, but I would go to the arcade if there was such a thing. Yeah. As long as the model, the financial model, made sense, right, and that would make a lot of sense to me. Go pay for things I want, like beer and food, and play games just because they're there.
Well, I think I think that, I mean, that model, of course, is awesome. And where I was trying to go with it is, like, just behind the counter somewhere, or along the walls, which that would be high theft items, I guess. You couldn't just, like, stack up your games.
Well, it could be behind the walls. It could be on the walls behind the counter.
Yeah. Maybe we could, like, wallpaper behind there, like tile the counter with old SNES games.
Well, you know what actually be pretty sweet is if you did what you could do, you could go to Game Exchange and be like, hey, we'd like to buy your entire NES collection. Yeah. How much is that going to run? It's like $15. Okay, deal. And then you just like you actually grout the NES cartridges in place.
That would be freaking sweet.
Yeah,
that'd actually be really cool.
Yeah, that would be cool. I want to do that now.
Yeah. So forget about like selling the games. Just have
have an
entire like
building.
Classic video game retro themed microbrewery.
Yeah,
with arcade games to play. And beer to drink.
Well, I want to have like Super Nintendos and Super Nintendos.
Yeah.
And Super Nintendos really is all I want to have.
You know,
there.
It'd be sweet.
I was gonna say NESs, but I don't care about the NES at all.
Arcade cabinets. Just blank arcade cabinets with a SNES or an NES or whatever in them, where the slot is exposed, so you can swap out the cartridges.
Okay.
But then you're playing on an arcade.
Yeah.
On an arcade
that's
stick.
entirely doable.
That'd be cool.
And I definitely intend for some of the machines to be hooked up like that with consoles, because if you're not charging for them, then you don't need all of the specific to like coin operation functions of an actual arcade board.
It's going to be cheaper, right? To put together, because we won't need the coin mechanisms or any of that stuff either, right?
Oh yeah, but I mean that's not really an issue, because whenever you buy old arcade machines, they usually have all that stuff.
Could we sell them? Could we sell the coin mechanism?
I mean, probably. But
nice.
Well, like most, like the arcade machines I'm going to be trying to get are going to be Japanese machines, so they're going to have like. They're going to have like coin mechs that are set up for like yen and stuff, so they're probably not going to be very useful, but you probably sell them. I think some coin mechs are like adjustable, where you actually physically, there's like a slot for the coin you want it to be matched to, and you actually insert a coin, and then it balances like based off of an actual physical coin. But I don't know if all coin mechs are adjustable like that. Anyway, the point is that these machines that we'll be buying are going to be Japanese machines, and they're empty, so the only expense is just buying the boards to put in them.
Right.
It's going to be like, for certain games, it's going to be a lot cheaper to slap like a PS2 in there.
Yeah.
And since we don't need coin operation functions, it doesn't matter that it's going to be a console game in some of those situations. But hey, that's just especially like System 357 games. Like your Tekken 6 like Tekken 6, Tekken 5, Tekken 6, I think. Like those games are ludicrously expensive to get up and running in arcade form, but like you can buy a PS3 for like $80 and slap the disc in there and you're good to go.
Yeah, aren't there like combo machines that have like Donkey Kong, Galaga, Pac-Man, like a bunch of crap shoved into one?
There are some not legit ones
that
you might get in trouble for operating in an actual business establishment.
Not if you're charged for it, right?
No, they're illegal. They're like copyright infringing, so you probably get in trouble for doing it.
Who's got copyright on? I mean, does
Nintendo has copyright
still
on?
Care about Pac-Man original?
I'm sure they do. They still sell compilations of it new.
Oh, okay.
You can download Namco arcade classics on Steam or whatever.
That's crazy.
So I'm sure that they are still concerned about piracy of it. But it's probably not a big thing. But the point is that
there were compilation arcade cabinets in arcades.
Sure, officially licensed, released ones.
Like Galaga and Pac-Man and other Namco or Midway games.
Right. Midway. Wow. And I wonder what Midway's doing these days. Not existing, probably.
All they really did was arcade games, right?
Yeah,
like
I think so.
Old school arcade games.
I've only ever seen Midway on arcade games. Yeah. So
Midway, Galaga was a Midway game, right?
Was it?
I mean, I could be
wrong. Oh, I think it was.
Either Midway or Namco. Midway and Namco owned the arcade back then.
Yeah, that's true. Well, hey,
it's
guys,
been fun.
I think we had a lively conversation this time.
What, an hour-long stream?
Yep.
And I probably could have blazed through the second stage here when we finised our conversation, but that's cool.
Yeah, but you know what? We'll take care of that next week. And we hope that that you guys like this new format.
Yeah.
I'm certainly having a good time talking about things.
And I'm enjoying playing just some simpler games for a while. We tried to foray into things like Earthbound and well, I think Earthbound was the last one we did, but we were doing more RPGs and narrative games and things like that. And for our format, what we really want to do, I think, is more just like hang out as bros and play video games.
The video games are kind of just an excuse for us to talk about stuff.
Right.
To be in the same room and talk.
And the stream is a good excuse to have conversations that we want to have. And, if people think they're interesting, great. And if they don't, it doesn't matter because we're just going to have a conversation anyway. So, not to say that we're not ever going to play any new popular games or trending games or...
No, we specifically will be playing some
narrative,
of those eventually.
Any sort of narrative games. That's not off the docket for sure, but it's like these Streamcasts are going to be a more regular thing.
And if we can get some viewers and actually get some comments, we will actually respond to you because we now have it set up in such a way we can monitor the comments. And I would
add to the conversation or change the subject of the conversation depending on how interesting your comment is.
Sure, I would be thrilled to have actual audience interaction. That's one of my favorite things about watching other streamers is the audience interaction, and specifically getting involved in it and being part of the interaction.
Right. We want to listen to you, and if you have suggestions on games that you'd like to see us play while we have conversations, as long as they're not super drawn out RPGs that we have to actually pay attention to what's going on the screen. And narratives again. We did do Doki Doki Literature Club. If you missed that, you can go back and watch it on the YouTube archive.
You didn't miss it because we know that's where we got all the subscribers we currently have.
Yeah. But that, like I said, not to say that we'll never do anything like that again, but for right now, the Streamcast is kind of what we're focusing on. If you guys specifically want to see something, let us know in the comments or hit us up in chat. So.
Yep. All right. Well, that does it for tonight. Hope y'all enjoyed. We'll see you next week.
Later.